All right, it's Friday, and it's another Q&A with Alan and Marshall. I'm Marshall Atkinson.
I'm Alan Howe with Easy Way Systems.
And we're so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be home. It seems like I've been gone for a year.
I agree. It's been a good week, but a tired week.
Yeah. I went to bed at 9 o'clock last night. I'm like, I'm just so exhausted. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm so happy to be here, Alan, doing our show and not having issues. So if you got, and we're going to talk about that later, but if you're watching right now, please, double please say hello. Let us know that you're watching. Let us know where you're from. And we're going to talk about everything that just happened in Texas. If you were there, let us know also. You know, we'd love to talk about that. And also, we would love to drum up some new viewers. So if you could please click the share button and share on your social, let everyone know that you're watching so we can rope in some more viewers. That would be fantastic. Absolutely. So we appreciate that in advance if you do that. So let's say hello to some folks. Keith is here. I was so happy to see her and Chris.
It was so great to meet her finally. So Keith's on the block.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And Keith's here. Good morning, Keith. Good to see you as well.
Yep.
Peter Babcock from Michigan's watching. Good morning.
Morning, Peter.
And Cindy's here. Good morning, Cindy. It was so good to see you at that the maid party.
Did you see? Did you see what she said about feeling snubbed?
The queen is feeling snubbed. What does that mean?
Well, Marshall, because I got a picture with her, and she wanted a picture with both of us, but you were teaching a class, then getting ready for Shirt Lab, and didn't have that. You know, so she asked me. The funny thing was, she goes, "Where's Marshall at?" And I kind of did the sarcastic comment, going, "You know, contrary to popular belief, Marshall does not check in with me."
we're not Siamese twins joined at the hip either.
The night before, but then she was looking for you, and I knew you were swamped with Shirt Lab. But
yeah, what day was that?
Oh, I don't know. How long were we gone? I mean, it's
we were gone 3 months. It feels like.
Friday and Saturday, I think. So
yeah, Saturday. Oh, I was all into Shirt Lab stuff. So my classes were Thursday and Friday, and then Saturday I was doing errands with Shirt Lab and stuff, and so. And then Shane says, "Good morning." Brian's here. Good Friday morning. Don't talk about everything from Texas. They should have been there. Or we're not going to reveal everything, Brian.
We're going to give the high points. Brian was there. Always good to see him.
Right. And then Marcia's here. She's still in Texas. Had a great time at Impressions Expo, and Shirt Lab was amazing. Thank you, Marcia. Richard says, still recovering from my trip in Fort Worth.
I think we all are.
I feel you, Richard. So
it's a great time, but yeah.
Cindy says, I like to give you a hard time. At the party, we're like, who are you? Yeah, I said that. So she said hello. I go, hey, hello, because I didn't see her name tag. And I go, who are you? I'm like, oh, Cindy. Okay, great. It was pretty funny, actually. Because all we see you is your profile picture, you know, and Kisa says her dip tank has been ordered.
Awesome. Good job.
Actions reveal priorities. Let's get it done. Good job, Kisa. That's great. That's great.
She was texting me, instant messaging me, and I was giving her what she needed. We talked at the show, and it was great. I did pass your information on to Steve Nelson, our rep from Easy Way. So,
yeah. Great. And then Tanya says hello. Good seeing her. Good meeting her and Courtney. That was really good that she was there.
Tanya, in your car, if you remember when you picked me up for the party at the maid.
Right.
And
yeah.
When we were talking, she goes, "Oh yeah, I've talked to you because I had a question and you answered, and you were on your boat fishing. Whoops! In the middle of the week, been caught."
Yeah.
I've been known to do that from time to time. So it was.
Courtney says good morning, and Tanya says Courtney's here too.
awesome. It's so
Sean
good.
says, "Hi guys, sorry I missed Fort Worth." Yeah, we're sorry you missed it too, Sean. It would have been so fun to hang out with you, but we understand. I know you had stuff going on.
Work.
So, well, cool. So, hey, what do you say we play the commercial and then we can get into some chit chat about stuff?
I think so. We need to always recognize our sponsor, Graphic Solutions. Man, they treated us great down there.
Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about them, by the way. So let's get this going. All right. That's such a cool song.
It is.
So I think the first thing we want to do is let's talk about our show last week, which I think was probably the best show that we've ever done.
It was.
We were so snake bit with that. And GSG was so forgiving. So a huge shout out to them and thank you. We couldn't get anything to work right. I showed up, 30 minutes for going live, and I realized I forgot my headphone mic that I brought to do from the booth, and I had to scramble back to the hotel. And you should have seen the look that Alan gave me. It was laser beam darts.
Well, I was more shocked because there's nobody more organized than Marshall.
Yeah, and so here's where Allie Banholzer comes in. It's like I should have had a checklist.
Yeah.
Did I have a checklist? No. Did I have a bag ready to go? All I had to do was pick it up to take to the thing. Yeah. And guess what I forgot to get was the stupid bag, right? I was all organized, everything in one spot, but here's what you got to do. You actually have to pick it up and bring it.
And so, it snowballed from there.
And then we couldn't get the connections to work. We couldn't get Alan's microphone. It was Echo Canyon City. Just dealing with all that stuff. And we promise our next live one, we're going to have it all figured out and tested. I'm buying some equipment, right? We haven't bought anything yet, but we're going to be buying some stuff so we can get that handled.
I hired the film crew from Amazon to come in, from Netflix to come in and do it. Unreal. I'll pay thousands of dollars. But,
yeah. But I can tell you from doing things over the years, we've all had orders, we've all had clients, we've all had challenges where seemingly every single thing that you do for whatever just goes wrong. It's like it's just not ever going to add up right. And all you can do, I think, is learn from it, right? Just call it tuition. You learn from that experience and let's move on. And I think if you dwell on it, you'll just drive yourself crazy.
It's one of those where, I forget, someone from GSG said, you guys look fine. And then when it said, okay, we're out and off the air, they said we both just looked horrible. And, we do. We try to keep the face. I think it was Liz Beavers, I just said, how do you handle that? I said, so just so everybody knows, I was trying to let Marshall off the hook. Being a man of faith, I was praying, God, if you are a just and fair God, you will kill me and give me a heart attack right now on air. That way Marshall would have the sympathy. So it's just awful. Because we are proud of what we do. We do respect our sponsor. We were down there for them, and we want to do a good job all the time. So it was just, I think, a sense of pride that going, we are failing right now, and it's out of our control. It was
right. Well, here's the thing. I mean, we're both professional people. I mean, we try to really just bring excellence with everything we do. And when stuff like that happens, you're just shaking your head as to how can we make it better. And so we're going to do a better job of being prepared. And I think some of it was bandwidth issues. Some of it was what we're using for our tech. So there's multiple ways that we can improve that, and we're going to figure it out. And I think the next one might be Long Beach, maybe, or a future show. So we're just going to have to figure that out, and we've got some time. So thank you for bearing with us. And if you clicked off early last week, we totally understand. I don't think I would have sat through that. So,
and you know what? Again, GSG was gracious. I don't know if you ever saw him after that, Marshall. You were swamped, but Granbury, I saw him about an hour later. I immediately just packed up, took my stuff to the hotel, and handled it like a professional and a man. Put my face in the pillow and cried where no one could.
Right.
So, but when I came back, I just went to Mark Granbury and just said, "Is this where I beg your forgiveness?" And he's just a gracious guy. He said, "No, things like this happen. We did talk. Just we got to get it fixed. We just do."
Yeah. And, we're going to get it. We're going to get it fixed. So,
but
we've done other live events with using the same stuff, and we didn't have an issue. So, who knows? All right. So let's get past that.
Please.
And let's talk about Fort Worth. And before we get into that, we have some more people join us. So Josh says, good morning.
Josh, I'm so good seeing you.
Cindy says, things that we order from the show are already coming in, just small things, but coming in fast. That's great. Richard says, I need help finding the Epson latest inkjet printer for positive. Which rips are still available? I had one of my coaching clients asking you about rips. Now that AccuRip isn't supporting anything, what is everybody using? Can you please comment? And that way Richard and I can both help our customers. That would be great. Charles says, happy Friday, everyone. Simon says, good morning.
Morning, Simon. Glad you're doing better, and hopefully almost all recovered, I hope. So
yeah. And Peter says, yes, that video was painful.
Thank you, Peter. I appreciate that. Painful was the word.
So let's review ISS Fort Worth. So I taught 2 classes, had really good people sitting in. It was great seeing them, and they traveled from everywhere. I had people in my classes from Minnesota, from New Orleans, from Virginia, from Maryland, from California. I had somebody from Montana, from Florida. So it wasn't just Fort Worth folks there. People flew in for this show. Now, some of those folks were there for Shirt Lab, so thank you also. But I think it's really when people say, oh, nobody's going to shows, if you see that comment on Facebook, I can tell you that there were people who on purpose got on a plane and booked a trip to go see stuff and to meet people and to take classes. And so, yes, the big boys weren't there, right? But people were there, anybody, and they were buying.
Yep. And you know what? I talked to a lady from Florida. The reason she was there, Printing United canceled, immediately booked.
Right.
In Fort Worth. And you know what? The big boys weren't there. M&R wasn't there. But you know what? You wanted to see M&R equipment? It was there. GSG had the spread on. Yeah. So, and I know I talked to one of the other automatic manufacturers, said they had a very good show. So, so that's awesome. People are buying.
So go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry, Marshall. But yeah.
Well, I was just going to say is, the people that I talked to, they were there on a mission.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to do something. They're trying to solve a problem. They were looking for different suppliers for shirts, for hats. They needed help with whatever, right? And so I think they found what they were looking for. And there was a lot of really great people there. I met a whole bunch of people that I've never met before. And if you took one of my classes, thank you so much. And you've taught classes at the trade shows before, and you know that if you get 50, 60% of the people that sign up, that's pretty good sign. And I did, at one class was, 35, 6 people. And the other class had like, I don't know, 45 or so. And they were all there to learn. They were all participating. They had great questions. And so it was really fun to see some folks. And what was really cool was at Shirt Labs, one of the Shirt Lab attendees came up to me and goes, "Hey, I was in your class." And it was, I didn't recognize him, of course, because he had the mask on in the class, and at Shirt Lab, he didn't. So it was kind of interesting to hear that. And he was like, "Oh, he didn't realize," this is his comment. He goes, "You were the teacher for my class. I didn't realize that you also did Shirt Lab." He didn't make that connection until, the event. Right. So that was kind of fun to hear. So,
and just so everybody knows what Marshall's talking about, we get as speakers before we get there. We get who has signed up for the class. Not everybody shows for some reasons and all that. So we always cut that number in half. When I was booking concerts and stuff like that too, whatever the artists and their management say what ticket sales should be, I was cut it in half. So,
right. Well, I think a lot of times the owners bring staff.
Yep.
Right. And then, hey, I want you to go take this class. They're signed up for it, and then they just sleep in, or they want to go to the show and they forget the class is going on at the same time, and that's another thing that happens. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's been times where the signups were very close to what they were on there. It's been a few years ago. I know one of the classes I did at Long Beach, I was writing something on a whiteboard and turned around, and there ended up being over 100 people there.
Right.
Which is, great. That's a Marc Coudray number there, which he had a lot more in the class next to me. But
right. So got some answers here. So Shane says CAD Link Rip T3270 using XL version. So thanks, Shane. Ghost is here. Thanks, representing Sweden. Appreciate you, pal. Brian says, I use Separation Studio with a 1430, but I have an extra 1430 if needed.
Oh, great.
So, that's great. Right. So I'm going to write that rip down real quick. CAD Link Rip.
CAD Link has been around for a long time. I know in the sign industry use, so it can bounce back and forth. It's a good program.
Yeah. So also Fort Worth, they had a lot of people there. I don't know what do you think the attendance was?
You know what? I don't know. I didn't even ask. It was busy most of the time.
Yeah, right.
Towards the end of the day, got a little slow, but that's all right.
Well, all trade shows get slow at the end of the day because people have walked the show, and where's the bar? We want to go do something, so that's usually what it is, right? And I really liked the even though there wasn't like the big, Long Beach, you didn't see Sanmar, you didn't see, some of these big booths, whatever. You still had lots of interesting things, and you could go learn and you could go do some things. So if you went to the Fort Worth show and you're here watching, can you leave a comment about what booth that you thought was the best? Did you buy something? What did you buy? What did you source? What did you learn walking the trade show? I think that might be a really cool thing to kind of compare notes, because I know a lot of you guys went to that because, you told me you did. So,
we're always trying to learn something. This industry moves so fast, Marshall. I know I've gotten asked by people going, how do you keep track of everything? Every day is a learning event on there. You just can't. You just have to learn something new. And so what I did, I purposely, because we've done better on this of having, Nancy Mims from Madeira and Liz Beavers was on the show during the last week's from there. That's not a strong point for you and I. So I actually hung out by the ZSK machine, talking to Liz, learning a little bit more about embroidery. And that brand new ZSK machine is a badass machine.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of ZSK machines, did you know one of our viewers listened and then heard that there's a new ZSK machine forehead down on the show and went down there after our show and bought one?
Exactly. Yep.
So that's the power of our show, Alan. We influenced the purchase. I'm so happy about that.
Kisa purchased from GSG that dip tank.
Yeah.
So that's what happens. You know, and I'm learning going, you know, why a longer needle stroke is important. Well, I didn't realize, you know, you're going through 2 layers of thread and foam, 3D foam. To do that, you got to have it with powerful motors and stuff, and not all machines have that.
Right.
You know, it was just a great machine. If you're looking at an embroidery machine, check out that new Super Sprint from ZSK.
Right, right.
Love to know what y'all thought of that. It was pretty cool.
So another cool thing that I did, do you remember that I went down to the GSG headquarters?
I do.
Thursday morning, and Mark took me around and there's a video which I told you I was going to ask them about, but I forgot. So I don't have the video. But we made a video, Mark and I, and Daniel filmed it and everything. And so, hey, Mark, or anybody with GSU, if you're watching, can you share the link for that? We'd love to like get that into the show here. But it was really fun seeing what they do there. And Mark has a phenomenal lab. And that's where he films all his YouTube content there. And it was really kind of interesting. And he also showed me some of the big printers that they have, you know, and they had this one, and they have some samples there. They had printed like a beach scene on a door, and not a flat door, but a sculpted door with the trim and everything. It was really cool. And there was just really kind of fun stuff, and it was good to see. And I was walking down the shelves looking at all the stuff. They've got tons of vinyl, and they got oodles of ink, by the way. And
I got off the plane Wednesday afternoon about 11:30 and immediately met a GSG rep who's working up here in Michigan, and went and made calls. And that's what everybody's asking about is ink, and they do have it so far. So yeah. So you're stuck with that. Now I'm here on the
okay.
Nice.
Brian Brufka refused to sell me his Epson 1430, even though I need it. I wrote his name down in my book and then crossed it out.
Why would you do that, Brian? What's up with that?
You're in the book? He crossed it out?
Not anymore. He's not. Oh, no.
I think he's just playing, but that's really funny. And then Kim says, good morning from sunny Arizona. Sad I missed Fort Worth. Kim, I need to come to your shop. Mm-hmm. So, you know, because I'm here. I'm in Arizona. Sandmar was there, just a way smaller booth than normal. Yeah, I meant, that's what I meant, Keith. Sorry. I just browsed and talked to some of my vendors, really just touching base and hanging out with friends. So thanks, Keith. And by the way, Keith and some of the other folks at Shirt Lab, they did it right. And so they have all met through the Shirt Lab experience, and they booked a Airbnb for their time there. And we went there Tuesday night to kind of hang out and, you know, had some pizza and stuff. And it was so fun. You know, I think that if you're doing stuff like that and multiple shops you're coming in from out of town, I think that is the perfect way to attend a show and an event, right?
I appreciate the invite, Keith and Allie and Marge. And I said I was going, but then I got to my hotel and I had an early morning flight, had to pack, so I just didn't. So, but I saw the video and I was a little bummed that I didn't go. Yeah. Good time. And I know Joe Art now has already emailed me about some things we've talked about. And you're right. It is about the community. It was a good time there, and they did do it right. It looks like.
Right. So Kim says it's in the process of being built. As soon as it's done, I'd love to have you visit. Hey, Kim, I should come out before it's built. Just saying. I help people with their workflow. So Al McCormick from Hydroblaster came out of the wasteland of Utah after many years away from screen printing trade shows to show the new Auto Blaster $30,000 auto spray unit. Interesting.
I saw it. For 30, I guess it's okay. I have some things I'm not quite sure about on it, but it remains to be seen. It's my opinion.
And Tanya says that's the plan for Chicago. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Keith says it was a blast having everyone come over. It was great for all of us. Yeah,
it was.
It was cool, and we did some really fun conversations. Were you, Keith? Were you involved in the what type of animals live in our shop discussion that we all were having? Raccoons and rats and all kinds of crazy critters are running around these shops, and there was a really fun exchange of who had the weirdest animal. Anyway,
we were there all together. It was in between Fort Worth ISS and Shirt Lab that night, Marshall, and talk about an eclectic group of getting together. We were all at dinner, and I forget where we were at, and it was me and you and Richard and Mark Coudray and Allie Van Helzer and Keith and Joe Ortnow and Marge and Megan were all there, and more people came later. I got in the middle of a conversation between Mark Coudray and Marge Esterling, which Marge went to college for physics. And of course, Mark Coudray is just the smartest man on the planet. And they got talking physics. I was in the middle of that. Boy, did I feel like an idiot. Excuse me. I'm going to go. I know what a squeegee is. It was, but it was just such a great time.
Right. I think that probably the segue for that probably was about Mark's talk at Shirt Lab, which was the physics of profit. And we're going to talk about Shirt Lab stuff here in a minute.
Marge goes, wait, physics? And she jumped on. I'm like, Marge knows physics. Well, she tells me she went to college for it. The more you talk to Marge, the more you realize what an incredible person she is. Like, yeah. I should have just got up and went down to the other end of the table.
And how cool was it to see her win the Women in Screen Printing Awards at the May Labs thing? That was really fun.
That was great. I got to meet Adrienne Palmer too from Screenprint Magazine. And she was talking. She said when she was up there presenting the award, she's looking at it and she goes, "Oh, Alan Howe's here." She thought to herself and going, "Wait, I know Alan. I just never met Alan." And same thing. So we talked to her. Right. So good seeing her.
Yeah, cool. Frank's here from SNS. Good morning, Frank. Good morning, guys.
Well, another guy there. You know what? Met Frank before, but we shared a couple Ubers and hung out. And just Frank, it was good hanging out with him. We're going to have Frank on the show. He's scheduled in a couple weeks.
Yeah, right. So, hey, let's get to Shirt Lab.
Absolutely.
Lots of great stuff there. So if you're watching and didn't attend Shirt Lab Fort Worth, that's okay. We forgive you. We'll have lots of stuff next year, so think about joining us for that.
Yeah.
But we want to recap what happened with that. And so if you're watching right now, please share your favorite presentation from Shirt Lab or some other thing, the networking or the VIP dinner or whatever you thought was the coolest thing. And we would love to kind of talk about those. So, Alan, this was the 6th live Shirt Lab event, and this is the first one you've been to.
It is.
Right? So tell me, what was your experience like, and what do you think?
Well, I think before that, we have to remember too, Marshall, while it wasn't just the live experience, it was being broadcast live to Shirt Lab tribe members. Yep. And people like Greg Kitson watching and stuff. So if you watched it, let us know what you think.
Well, we had live streaming, and we had, I need to get the numbers on that. I want to say there was about 50 people, maybe a little more than that, watching live stream. And then we had the people that were there, right? So we had a pretty decent sized audience watching. And the people who were watching live stream were people who paid for the live stream. There were the sponsors, for their staff that couldn't make it. And then also former speakers. We let all them in too. So,
It,
so there's a good bunch of folks watching.
so
And
go ahead, Marshall. I'm sorry.
and so anyway, so I would love to hear you guys' comments on that. So for you, Alan, what was your kind of biggest takeaways? What was your favorite?
Well, there's a couple of things. One, it is the 6th live shirt lab, and just so everybody knows, as good of friends as Marshall and Tom Rowan are, Rowan and I are, I have been invited to every single one of them, and have never attended. So, and the real reason for that is I'm a horrible friend. Let's just be honest.
You're just busy. It's
yeah.
Okay.
Well, you know what? And we learned from Jeffrey Gittimer, that's an excuse, whatever. But I made the point to go down, take the time and do it. And I am so glad. As hard as we are from shows and stuff, because one, what a great community. Some of the people I knew, some of them didn't. And you know what? As someone that's presented on Shirt Lab Tribe and done videos, when we do those, you never know who's watching. I had a couple people come up at a dinner and tell me how much Printing Better Whites helped their business. And that just makes me, I mean, not to be arrogant, but that makes me feel great that I had a hand in helping their business, meeting them. And so that was a great takeaway. Meeting people that I've talked to on Instant Messenger, through Tribe, and helped out. Kisa Larson is some of them. You know, Brian and I met at Dax for the first time, but putting faces to names and just getting to know them, it is still about community. I don't know if it's the older I get or because we were 16 months, 18 months of not seeing anybody. That is always, for me, the best part.
Right.
Then let's just talk about speakers. Oh my gosh. You know, Marshall, I have my favorites. I know Eric Campbell, who's friends of ours, just killed it out there. You know, Richard Greaves told me, he says, you know, it's an embroidery thing. We are screen print monkeys. If it's not a squeegee, we don't know where the squeegee goes.
Right.
And, you know, he said he was listening and closed his book. And Richard told me, he goes, oh my gosh, that was incredible. And Eric, you know, we've all been there. We were talking about, some of us that speak about the imposter syndrome, where you really feel like, am I really this good? Eric told me at Dax a couple of weeks ago, he was, you know, he's looking at the lineup and going, why am I on there? And he was really, he said, it's getting in my head. And, you know, him and I just talked this, unless you've been there, you can't go there. And I just said, you're there because you need to be there because of what you've done. And he just killed it.
Yeah.
For me, my favorites on there, my takeaways were one, Brittany Long. You know, emails are something I use as a tool. It's just what we do of communication. And when I saw a seminar on emails, I'm going, really? Nobody likes to get spam emails. Oh my gosh. Incredible of ways to make your emails readable and get response. She had data. She had numbers. She had a great story. And that is something that, you know, I don't do marketing. I'm in sales, but something I could implement immediately and have.
Right.
You know, the other thing too, because it was all about what are you doing? You know, actions. What was it?
Actions reveal priorities. That's our Shirt Lab motto. What are you doing? Right.
Yeah, I want to get ahead. But then Jeffrey Gittimer, you know, I have books of his. I have the little black book of connections, the little red book of selling.
Right.
Seeing him live sometimes as a sales professional. You know, I've done some things on closing for Shirt Lab, a few things. I don't claim to be an expert, but sometimes it's the little things. And Jeffrey Gittimer, love him, hate him, just what it is. His personality is very East Coast, and it's just black and white to the point, and I love that. And he said, you know, we sometimes go, you know, these people are cheaper. That's why they're just whoring the price and stuff. And he just goes, pardon my French, BS. That is whining. The reason you didn't get it was price, is that you didn't create value.
Well, his comment was the reason you didn't get the sales because you suck at sales.
And I'm like, thank you. Where's the knife after the last podcast we did? You know, but he is so right. And then about some accounts, you know, you just got to have the backbone. He used a different analogy. And, you know, no matter how well we do and how successful we might be portrayed as industry leaders and stuff, Marshall, is a sales guy. There are still accounts that I'm afraid of, that I don't go to because of that, and it's because I suck. And when
share the story that you told me yesterday.
Yeah, so I got off the plane Wednesday at 11:30 Detroit time, and got my bags and stuff and met one of the reps from Graphic Solutions, GSG, and he had a list of some people he wanted me. He only two, one I knew and one I just did not want to go to. Yeah, I'm not going to say the name. Richard knows him and stuff, but I'm like, okay, and a lot of reasons on it. And you know what? I thought, get him still in my head going, just grow up here, Alan. Be a man, put on the big boy pants, and let's go. And we went there and had a great meeting. You know, what am I afraid of? The next day, there's an account we went to, and I know it. I had not been there in probably 7 years. For lots of reasons. Another one, just put on the big boy pants. This is what we do. Don't be afraid. If it's no, move on. Stay in touch with them, but do it. I'm not going to let price be an issue. I'm going to show value in me, my product, and what I do. And yeah, it's just black and white. I don't want to suck as a salesman.
I'm so happy that our event influenced you.
Yeah.
And you're putting some of that stuff to action. That makes me really happy, Alan. I got to tell you.
Thank you. And you know, I need to, because I am, as much as, you know, I think sometimes, Marshall, people see us that we just do our things, you know, especially get into the academy. I had someone ask, they go, it's kind of easy street. No, it's good. Some of y'all met my boss, Alex Mimosa. He was at Shirt Lab the one day, and they're great boss. But believe me, if I am not moving product, I'm dead to him. I'm no use to him. This is what I get paid to do. This stuff is great and all that, but it's not the main thing. And as a sales professional, I always have to be learning, and we have to be always learning and always implementing, and our actions reveal our priorities right there.
Yeah. Great said. So we got a million comments. Let's get to some. So Tanya says, Courtney has given Jay and I homework to get our business plan done and checklists for all the things that have been started. Yeah. And by the way, get some dates next to them. Don't just make a checklist. Yep. Put a date when that needs to be completed, right? So it doesn't have to be tomorrow. It can be next week or next month or whatever. But put a date by it, and you're working to get that completed by the date. That's your goal.
Yep.
Hurley says, good morning.
Morning from Canada.
Keith says, Marge has become one of my best friends. She is an amazing person. Totally agree with that.
Yep, absolutely.
Frank says, likewise to whatever we were talking about.
Yes, him and I spent some time together quite a bit.
Right.
What a great guy.
At the Airbnb, Keith describing removing varmints from his shop. Yeah, that was awesome. Marcia says, Brittany Long's email presentation was my fave, and the dinner was amazing. The dinner was amazing. That was our VIP dinner, by the way, that they're referring to.
That was a great dinner. So, Marshall, thank you to you and Tom. It was. I actually sat at the table with Brittany Long and her husband and
Zach
and Jen from
Greek Corner in Springfield, Missouri.
Yeah.
So that dinner, the VIP dinner, by the way, is your chance for the next live one. If you see that VIP dinner and wonder, it's $200. Why do we spend $200 for a dinner? It's because of the level of awesomeness that we bring, because it's a cocktail party kind of thing. You're mingling with all the speakers and the major sponsors and other people that are just like you. And it's not about what the price of the meal is. It's the experience, and that's what you're purchasing. And we had it at this place called Riata, which is a Tex-Mex place there in Fort Worth, but we rented the roof. It was a rooftop dinner that overlooked all the buildings in downtown Fort Worth. It was a lot of fun. So,
and you know what? The food was amazing too.
Yep. Yeah. And then Richard says, I haven't seen it work yet, so I'm withholding judgment, but it was new. I guess it's about the cleaner. Tanya says, meeting everyone, so much information and things we're going to implement, listening to the history from Richard, Jeffrey, and Mark, and both of you. Thank you. Frank says, definitely networking dinner was great and all the presenters were outstanding. Really unfair to pick one of being the best because so many different perspectives and subjects. All around great conference. Thanks, Frank. I love that comment.
I gotta interject here. Jeffrey Gittimer would say, stop being wishy-washy, pick one.
Keith says, having Jeffrey Gittimer come sit next to me at the VIP dinner, he was great. As for the presentations, I haven't picked a fave yet. They were also good. By the way, there's a really funny story with Jeffrey Gittimer was wearing a Philadelphia Eagles shirt at the VIP dinner, and Ryan Moore sat down. Of course, he lives up there and is a big Seahawks fan. And they got in this big debate about the football teams. And Ryan asked him, so what shop do you work at?
Great.
It was really, I just heard about this secondhand, but I would love to have heard that. Keisa says, I learned so much from talking to other participants. Brian, Bobby, Alan, et cetera, et cetera. That's great. I love every second of Shirt Lab. Thank you. Next time, Keisa, we need to hang out. Frank says, bucket lift checks off meeting so many legends in the industry. Richard says, Marge and Allie together, laggers, watch out. You know it. In our Shirt Lab Tribe Facebook group, they were posting what they were doing. And on the flight home, Allie already had her implementation plan, checklist, dates, everything already made. So when she landed, it was already ready to go. Just so you're thinking about what you need to do. That's what you need to be doing, right? It's using every free minute.
And you know what, Marshall? That's why Allie Van Holzer is a rock star. Because going from the first time I met her was at 5 years ago at Max Profit. She was just starting out to now. Oh my God. And that's why she is a badass. Yeah.
So the Max Profit show that I put on when I worked for Inksoft was the catalyst for Shirt Lab. Because I learned how to build an event. That was the first event that I ever did. And when I did that, I was like, what the hell am I doing? I don't know how to do this. But we did it anyway. Yeah. And then I used that skill to help build Shirt Lab with Tom. So that was the first thing.
And I told Tom, he was sitting across from me too at that dinner we were all at. And that's one of my favorite pictures. If you've seen it on my Facebook, is a picture of me, Marshall, Mark Coudray, and Tom just laughing. And that was just at the speaker dinner before that at Profit. And we were all there. I think that's the first time we've all been together at one time since then. It was so great. Right. Just the evolution of how things have progressed with everybody.
Sure. That was a long time ago.
That was also Tom's first time speaking in the industry, he said.
Right.
I did not realize that until that night. So that was great.
So Tanya says JT was awesome too, seeing his shop evolve. Brittany Long, fantastic.
Yeah.
Eric Campbell, when I started, I said to myself, oh, embroidery, no need for notes. Good luck with that.
But what
he was bringing the heat.
Yeah, Richard ended up taking a ton of notes.
So Josh says winning a heat press was pretty damn cool. VIP dinner was outstanding. Met a lot of amazing people. Speakers were amazing. And so at our networking event Sunday night at Printed Threads, and big shout out to Brett Bowden and his gang, Stalls had the 360 IQ there, and everybody was making hats, right? With the patches that they had made and teaching everybody how to use the hat press. My son Jack did one. In fact, that's his hat right there. My son Jack, 17 years old, made this hat in like 2 seconds. It was a big thing for him. He really enjoyed it. And they gave the hat press away, and Josh won it. So that was really kind of cool.
That was also another great thing. So after that event, I went to dinner with my boss, Alex Mimosa, Josh Wiley, and Sean Kirkpatrick. And man, just great talking and great guys. So
yeah, cool. Richard says, boy, was I wrong. He brought a real understanding to what a digitizer can do for images and then selling it. My hat's off to him. Honestly, I'm just a few days shirt lab helped me to be able to better communicate my needs with our employees. Processes are only going to help make things better as well.
Yep.
Yes, and checklists for jobs. My friend JT gave an awesome speech, but talking with Gittimer at the dinner was amazing. Allie's my hero. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I thought Ryan was joking, but we didn't really know who Jeffrey was. Him with his Eagles shirt and me with my Cowboys hat sitting next to each other. People can get along.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, Eagles and Cowboys are a blood feud hatred. So how are we doing on time? We got 15 minutes. So my perspective from it, from an organizer, was I was very thrilled to see everybody there. It was really great interactions. We had some hiccups, but we kind of powered through them. And just like any live event, you're going to happen. For example, how funny was it when we couldn't get Brittany's microphone to work and we kept giving her microphones and then the microphone wouldn't work. And then I would get the microphone back from her and it would work for me. And it was like,
I forgot about that, but yeah.
It was just one of those weird things, right? It's like, what's going on? She's like the microphone dead zone. And, that was with our roundtable panel. So that was kind of fun. But it was really good just seeing everybody and interaction. And how awesome was our lunch? I thought our caterer was they just killed it.
Incredible. Yeah. Yeah. There was not a lack of food. There was not a lack of anything. It was and what a great venue too, Marshall. You and Tom really picked a great one. That was an awesome venue.
Yeah, we tried something new, which is an auditorium style. Normally we've been in classroom kind of style. We just want to do something new, right? So we did an auditorium style with a stage, and this is more TED Talk style with the presentations. And then next to the auditorium, we had all of our dining in an art gallery. So you're surrounded by great works of art while you were eating your lunch and talking about stuff. So
there's a little weird art there too. Mark pointed out it was kind of creepy, but yeah, that's okay. So
what'd you say?
There was some weird art there too, some creepiness.
Art is weird. I'm an artist. I create weird stuff sometimes. So
some art made out of human hair. That was a little creepy.
Yeah, well, I've seen art made out of teeth. That's creepier.
Yeah, very creepy.
So Frank says her earrings were disrupting the RF signal.
Her earrings.
That's probably it. So when is the next shirt lab? So Peter, thank you for bringing this up. So we have several events next year. So if you're going to go to Long Beach, we've rented a beach house and we're going to have nightly mastermind discussions. And we're probably going to be broadcasting those. We have to map it out first. So we're going to be doing that from Long Beach. So if you're there, we'd love to see you and participate. We also have our Shirt Lab Summit virtual is going to be in March. So look for that. And that's going to be our virtual event. Our next live event is going to be Shirt Lab Chicago in July, right after the ASI Chicago show.
Yep.
So I believe that's the Friday, the 22nd or 23rd, whatever that Friday is. Don't quote me on the date, but we're going to have that at a venue at a skyscraper building downtown Chicago called Venue 610 that overlooks Grant Park. So it's right downtown. That's going to be an amazing event. Do we have any speakers lined up yet? No, but it's going to be an amazing event, I can tell you. And then that's only going to be a one-day event. And then for Q3-ish, we're going to do a thing called the 100 Customer Challenge, where everybody can learn how to get 100 new customers in 100 days. Mm-hmm. And then if you're a member of Shirt Lab Tribe, we're going to be doing a private event, one per quarter, all next year. And so all of that content we haven't built, we don't have speakers, or so a lot of times we don't have dates. So, but we're going to be building that now that Fort Worth is over. I'm going to be busy, Alan. So So you'll see that we're going to be also redesigning our website. So I've got a new web design partner, Web2Ink, by the way. They're really awesome. So Steve's going to help me redo our website. And so look for all that by the end of the year. So lots of good stuff. Oh, Peter's here. Peter, it was a great event to be sure. Thank you, Peter. So much fun hanging out with you.
Definitely.
Keith says, yes, Alan, the hair on the umbrellas. Yeah.
Creepy.
Hats off to you, Marshall, for the idea generator cards. By the way, that's these. So that was a lot of fun to build and talk about. Tanya says, whoop. Charles says, awesome. Good stuff ahead. Charles would love to see you at a Shirt Lab thing. So, all right. So let's wrap that up. And we've got one topic left.
How about
which is this.
Marshall, why don't you say who your big sponsors were too?
Oh yeah, so for Shirt Lab, so our big sponsors were jerseys, Guten, GSF, SNS Activewear. That's our top, and then we have All Made, Rock, and Ryanette, and then I don't have them in front of me, so hopefully if I don't miss anybody, and then we have
not GSF.
GSG, sorry, yeah. Our sponsor there, right? So, brain fart, and then we have Inksoft, Printavo, Graphic Source. Who else? Easy Way. Yeah, thanks for the tip. Right, and this is why I need a list because I have a crappy memory. Hey, stall for a minute while I bring up the list.
The other thing too was great seeing Nick Wood and Lucas Nielsen from Graphic Source. Always great people. I know Lucas had to take off after ISS and go to Honduras, shooting a video there. But Graphic Source, if you haven't looked into them, you need to.
Yeah. And then, so I got my list up. So Stalls, of course, Stalls. How could I forget them? Right. Super Color is now a gold level sponsor, as well as Web2Ink that's doing our webpage. And then we also have Screenprinting Magazine. Brett at Print and Threads, helped us out with our event at his thing Sunday night. And then M&R, of course, Impressions Magazine, Images Magazine, and also Planet Apparel with those awesome bandanas that they put together. So, I have a crappy memory, so thanks for putting me on the spot. So anyway, we want to talk about actions, reveal priorities.
Yep.
So whether you went to ISS Fort Worth and we're looking at product or new equipment or new apparel, or you took classes, I know a lot of you took classes, or you went to Shirt Lab, right? None of that matters unless you put it into action.
Yep.
Okay. You have to be doing stuff. For you, Alan, you've already started action when you tried to use some of the stuff you learned and went and used that with client visits, right? So if you're watching this right now, I'm challenging you to put some calendar dates for stuff, to delegate some of the stuff. Remember, it doesn't have to be you doing it. It just has to get done, right? What are you going to be do? How are you going to implement it? Who is going to implement it? Calendar dates, put it on a calendar, put it on a whiteboard, make a list, make a plan, and then execute it. That's what really matters. Otherwise, it was just a really fun vacation trip with industry people. Okay. Yeah. You got to put this stuff into action or it doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
So I would love to hear if you've started putting things into action or made a plan or made a checklist or whatever, what did you do? Can you please leave a comment about that? And if you haven't, it's okay. Leave a comment about I need to. Also, if you need help, let me know. I can certainly help you with that, right? So Keith says, Bobby from K&B Promotions. What about Bobby?
You know what I mean? Talk about because Bobby stepped up and helped you guys at last minute.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So, Keith, you're right there. So, I was just talking with Bobby earlier today. So, yeah, he actually did a bunch of stuff. He was our host shop. Thank you, Keith, for reminding me. He was our host shop, and he allowed us to get some embroidery done. He did all the embroidery on those backpacks.
Yep.
If you saw my son, I need to give him a shout out. Also, Jack, who was helping out with the check-in table. He was the man throwing the microphone cube around. So Bobby embroidered our Shirt Lab logo on some polos for him. You know, he did a really great job. And then Peter says that your birthday is Sunday.
Peter lies.
Is that true?
It is true.
Well, how old are you going to be, Alan?
55.
55.
Yep.
Well, you know, I've got a special song just for you, Alan. You ready?
Go ahead.
Here it comes. So if you're sitting there watching this right now, I want you to sing along with me, okay? Even though we can't hear you.
I'd rather you not, but
happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Alan. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so congratulations on another trip around the sun.
Absolutely, Pete. There'll be a price increase coming your way. So.
Yeah, Keith says Jack was great. He had a great time. He loved meeting everybody, by the way. He was but it got tired. He was so tired about listening to shirt stuff. So by the way, Sunday night, or was it Monday night, instead of going to the VIP dinner, he goes, Dad, can I just watch the Monday night football game and order a pizza? I'm like, sure you can, Jack. Help yourself. So
it was so great meeting Jack. I feel like I knew him already because he's been on this. He's helped with some of the video stuff on this show. We've talked a little bit, and I really had never met him. And Marshall, if you've met him, how tall he is. Jack is just slightly shorter than him. But what a great kid. It was so much fun meeting him and talking with him.
Yeah, and he did something. He's 17, and he flew on a plane by himself, navigating both the Phoenix and the Dallas-Fort Worth airport without any help at all. And I don't know if I could have done that in high school. We've all traveled with other people. He's flown on planes with me before, but not by himself. And I was trying to think, how old was I when I flew on a plane by myself? And I want to think it was like late 20s, maybe. I mean, I've gone with trips with other people, but that was just really exciting to hear that he was willing to do that and just, man up and take care of it. And so
it was 17 the first time I flew by myself. It was a little scary.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then here you go. So Marcia says, "Happy birthday, buddy! You just got up with me." There you go. Keith says, "To look on his face when you told him you missed his first birthday." Yeah, that was a fun story. Do we have time for that? We got a minute. So back when I worked in Florida, that's where I lived in Tallahassee, Florida. My ink rep, Buddy Jolly with NASDAR, who to me is still the number one sales guy ever. Not you, Alan. I'm sorry, because you never sold me stuff, right? So I just know from my experience.
You never gave me.
He took me to the Masters, the golf tournament, right? And it was on the same day as my son's first birthday, right. And so we celebrated Jack's birthday a couple of days late. And because he's won, he never knew the difference until I told that story. So anyway, and then surprise at the event, how tall Marshall and Eric are. Yeah, we're gigantic people.
You are. I don't like to, even with Jack, you and him were on either side of me, and I had to move away because it's weird for me because I'm not used to looking up to people around me. And then if Eric got there, it would just creep me out. I'd have to go away.
Yeah.
I'm not used to
Hey, don't get Jamar with impressions around because he's 6'9" or whatever it is, right? So
yeah.
So Cindy says, great fun this morning. Thank y'all. Simon says, happy birthday, Alan. I hope you have a fab day.
Thank you.
Greg says, single guy flight 17. Thanks, Greg. So, all right. show's over, just about. What you got going on this weekend, buddy?
Well, I wish I could say I get to relax after the week. I don't. We have a family event in Canton, Ohio, so I have some stuff I have to do here. I have a sales meeting, video sales meeting at 3, and then I got to pack and drive to Canton, Ohio. So it never stops. So I can't wait till Monday evening where I get to finally relax.
Right. Well, all right, man. Well, hey, thank you for everything. Good seeing you this week.
It was great.
And thanks everybody watching for watching our show, but also hanging out in Texas. Appreciate you guys.
Absolutely.
And we'll talk to you guys soon.
Hey, Greg Kitson, you were missed. You were talked about. We missed seeing you.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes, most definitely. So, all right, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Have a great weekend. Be safe, everybody.
All right. Bye.